Okay, we in we in Galatians 5 and 22. Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love. And love is defined, I already gave you two places where it was defined in St. John 14 and 15 and 1 John 5 and 3. Now let's go to 2 John, the 6th chapter, or the 6th verse, I like you. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that, as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it. You see? The commandments of the Most High. So now, that's the first to get names as far as in Galatians 5:22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love. So that's keeping the Most High's commandments. Joy. And when you do it, it's going to bring joy, peace. But you angry. So how you have joy with anger? How you have joy with anger? You don't have no joy with anger. You have no peace with anger. Joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Mashiachim, which you should understand, which is not being promoted enough, in 1 Corinthians 3:23, and ye are Mashiachim. We are the Messiahs. And Mashiach is the Most High. Because that's how we reach the Most High. No man comes to the Father but by me, he said in St. John 14 and 6. It says, and they that are Mashiachim, the Messiahs, the anointed, have crucified the flesh with the affections of the lusts and lusts. You see, you have to crucify the works of the flesh that we read about from verse 17 on down to verse 22. Let's talk about the fruit of the Spirit. Remember, they contrary one to the other. So you got to allow the spiritual part to override the flesh, or you still not going to make it to the kingdom. As it is written, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Verse 25. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. When the book is closed, let us walk in the Spirit. When the book is closed, let us not be desirous of vainglory. Hear that? Going all the way back to Ecclesiastes 3:20. Boy. But many are deceived by their own vain opinion. You want to be somebody. And that's why I say, let us not be desirous of vain glory, worthless glory, provoking one another, envying one another, you know? Vain glory. You want to be somebody in hell. You're teaching the people that we're in hell, but yet still you trying to be somebody in hell. This could be your consolation, brothers. I tell you, hey, James 4:10. He said, humble yourselves in the sight of the Most High. So which one of you out there can say that you're never in the sight of the Most High? That's why I say, humble yourself in the sight of the Most High, and he shall lift you up. See? He's going to lift you up. It says, speak not evil one of another, brethren, Israelites. We're speaking evil one to another. He that speaketh evil of his brother and judges his brother speaketh evil of the law and judges the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou that judges another? That's why we got to be aware of what we do, or you can be a hypocrite. That's why I say, cast out the beam that's in your eye before you're going to take the mote that's in your brother's eye. You better know. Because them things going to start coming back on you. You start remembering what you've done, what we've done, and end up being embarrassed. Proverbs 17. Proverbs the 17th chapter. Like I say, the way of life is here. Proverbs 17 and 14. The beginning of strife is as when one let out water. Hear that? You know, children of the faucet. Beginning of strife is like one let out water. Therefore, leave off contention. Leave off contention before it be meddled with. Hear that? Leave it alone before it be meddled with. A lot of y'all live for contention. You know. He says it's like a stream of water flowing. Therefore, leave off contention before it be meddled with. That's why you shouldn't take your madness off on somebody else. Because you angry within yourself. And a lot of you looking to bring that anger on someone else. And that's wrong. Because when the Most High visits you, these are instructions. Proverbs 29 and 22. An angry man stirreth up strife. So angry man gonna stir up strife. Arguments and so forth. And a furious man aboundeth in transgression, in sin. See? Once the Spirit dictates that you off, then they gonna do something foolish. End up doing something foolish. So hasty to argue and do whatever they're gonna do. But you gotta think about what you're doing before you do it. Especially in these days and times. You see what it say? A furious man aboundeth in transgression. So you furious because they what? In your mind. Oh, they stepped on your pride. Your pride, right? That's why I say a man's pride shall bring him low. You're going to fall. But honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Honor will come to the humble in spirit. Look at verse 25. The fear of man, how man feel about you. Like you ain't angry enough, brother. You ain't furious enough. The fear of man bring up a snare. You hear that? The fear of man, how somebody else look at you, bringing forth a trap. You're like a bear trap. You fall right at to hit your leg. Because you fear man. You looking at what man can do to you. What man gonna say about you. How somebody gonna look at you and say something about you. The fear of man bring a snare, a trap. You're supposed to fear no man. But whoso putteth his trust in the Most High, which is faith in the Most High, shall be safe. You hear that? You put your trust in the Most High, you're going to be safe. Put your trust in man if you want to. Look. Once I got something for you for that too. In your misunderstanding. Listen what it says. Ecclesiasticus. The 23rd chapter in the Apocrypha, verse 19. Says, such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men. and considering the most secret parts, the things you think the Most High don't see. Consider the most secret parts, right? So a man only feared the eyes of man, right? They're concerned about how men feel about him. Go to Jeremiah 17 chapter. Jeremiah 17 and verse 5. Most High said, thus said the Most High, say, cursed be the man that trusts in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart, when you start to do this, you fear what a man think, your mind departed, which is your heart, departed from the Most High. You see that? And the Most High said he see everything. He understand and see everything. Even look what he said. Ecclesiastes 23 and verse 20. He knew all things ere ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. He knew everything before we was even created. He looked upon everything that we done. Look at Matthew 10 and 16. Matthew 10, 16. He said, behold, the Mashiach said, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Hear what he's saying? We got to be wise as serpents when you understand what he's saying. But harmless as doves. He tell us, he sent us forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. You know, a wolf will eat up a sheep. Then you know that's what you could expect. But that's why he tells us be wise as serpents. Plural, right? So let's take a look at that. Go to Revelations. The 12th chapter. And verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. So there appeared another fulfillment of prophecy right here in this earth. Behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns. That's 7 heads are the leading empires of the Edomite nations, the Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, the French, the Germans, the Russians, the British. The Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, the French, the Germans, the Russians, the British. So in consecutive order, that's how they came into power. To the 8th head, which is America, which represents the Greco-Roman Empire. A great red dragon, and the 10 horns are the EEC, European Economic Community, or the European Community, which support the 7 heads, which is called NATO today. And powers and authority is given to those heads as they came into power consecutively. Now we know the dragon is red. Jump up to verse 9. And the red dragon was cast out, that old serpent. There goes the serpent right there. That old serpent that we read about in Genesis the 3rd chapter, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, the lie to the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. That's why Moses asked Satan, where you coming from? In Job, the 1st chapter, 6th verse, said, down, he said, hey, I'm going up and down, to and fro on the earth, like that cross you put on you put on your around your neck, or they make the symbol across their chest. Up and down, to and fro on the earth. So that, he said, be wise as serpents. So we got to be wise as the serpents, he's saying. Know their knowledge. Know about their deceit, their lies. Know about the things that they're operating in, how the people in deceit and thinking that they're on point. But he said, but be harmless as doves. A dove is a very, very meek and quiet bird. You know? He's saying be wise as them, but be humble. He's telling us. It's very important. Because verse 12 says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth, and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, who is the serpent, who is the dragon, who is Satan, and who is the spirit of the system of the superpower of the earth, Esau. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. You see? That's why Mashiach is saying, be wise as serpents, but harmless as a dove, right? So when you look at verse 17, and the dragon, who was the devil, who was Satan, who was the serpents, who was Esau, the system, and the beast, who are all red. You go back to Genesis 25:25, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they call his name Esau. Key identifying points. Verse 17 of Revelation 12th chapter, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, which represent the 12 tribes of Israel. When you read Jeremiah 6:2, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, the children of Israel, and went to make war with the remnant, which is 1/3 of her seed, of the 12 tribes of Israel, which keep the commandments of the Most High. That's the children of Israel. That's the Israelites. And have the testimony of Mashiach Yahushua, the true testimony of Mashiach Yahushua. And not this false image of the so-called white man representing him in their minds and spirit and soul. No. We know. That's why he say be wise as serpents, plural. Whole lot of devils. Whole lot of Satans. Whole lot of beasts. Whole lot of dragons. Be wise as they are, but be harmless. Be humble. Harmless as a dove. What's the point of being all angry and being out of shape and you can't do nothing? Look at Romans. Understand the word of the Most High, y'all. He told us He's going to do these things. He said He's going to put the worst of the heathen on us. And the most wicked in all the world. We ain't listen to it. We ain't believe him. Like a lot of these things that you hear now, you don't believe. Some of you not going to believe. And change. But you better understand. Romans the 13th chapter. Mosiah said, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. That's verse 1 down. Higher powers. But there is no power but of the Most High. Hear that? There's no power but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High. Hear that? Real quick, go to Daniel's 4:17. Powers that be are ordained of the Most High. Daniel's 4:17. Daniel's 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living, and we the living, may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. He saved them for last. The basis of men. That's why I tell you, Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. But there is no power but of the Most High. We just read it. Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and set up over it the basis of men. There's no power but the power that's been ordained by the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High. You hear that? Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of the Most High. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. This For rulers are not a terror to good works. Those that's keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, the true testament of Mashiach Shai. But to the evil, you see? That's why you're doing something evil. Here he come. Boop. He got you. Because he was made for the day of evil. Just like we could see pride when you out rolling righteously. You can feel pride. You can feel the things that others are doing. You got to look at it within ourselves, though. Make sure that we ain't bringing forth that spirit of pride. Look at me, all that. You know, hey, I'm all that. Look how I'm look. You know, want that recognition in hell. That vainglory, you just said. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. You know? Do that what's good. You got praise of the same. You got praise. Most I say, when you please him, he make even your enemies be at peace with you. You got to please the Most High. First and foremost, he telling you. For he is the minister of the Most High. You know, he the minister of the Most High. To thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, which he was made for, be afraid, he said. You do that which is evil, say, be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is a minister of the Most High, a revenger, to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. You know what? Look, Proverbs. First and foremost, they in order. We the ones out of order and trying to be like them. They in order. Proverbs 16:4. The Most High have made all things for himself. Yeah, he say, yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. Hear that? And we know the wicked, they tell you in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He who is the wicked covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not, where and who is he? Because they say they the Most High, the ultimate judge. They say they are Mashiach Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Who's coming to judge and make war? They cover the faces of the apostles to be themselves. Who he said gonna sit on 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. They cover all the Israelites in their movies, in their magazines and so forth, as being themselves, which is a lie, deceiving the whole world. Look what he say next in verse 5. Everyone that is proud, which is opposite of being humble, is proud in heart, proud in your mind, thinking you are that, is an abomination to the Most High. You know that? You proud, you say you abomination, you filthy wicked act in the eyes of the Most High. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. Hear that? In the ultimate pride. First one to lift up the head, first one he named is who? Esau. That's why look at this. We here. Go to it says he beareth that sword not in vain, right? Is that what it said? Go to Psalm 17-13. Understand this, how the Most High say he set up over these kingdoms the bases of men. And he ruleth in the kingdom of men. Listen. Now that we know that the earth begins in the hand of the wicked, this is what David said in Psalm 17:13. Arise. He said, Come out now, Yahweh. Arise, O Most High. Disappoint him. He said, Cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. You hear that? That's why you see how those go together. Romans 13th chapter. He beareth not that sword in vain. David's crying and say, Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. You hear that? The Most High used the wicked for his sword. You ready for that? You better be ready. Well, we seeing it. We seeing his sword. He fulfilling just what he said. Perfect example, Zechariah 11:5. That we all should be able to relate to right now. Zechariah 11:5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. We see a brother have his hands up. He's shot down, murdered, and the verdict is what? Not guilty. Sisters too now. But the verdict is what? Not guilty. Whose possessors slay them with the Most High sword and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Most High, for I am rich. That's how they got rich. Selling us on auction blocks, selling us to each other. And we working for free in slavery. For I am rich. And their own shepherds, their own preachers, pity them not. Where they at on the front line? Where they at bringing forth this truth? We dealing with anger. Proverbs 37 and verse 8. Proverbs 37 and 8. No, Salakia. That's can't be. It's not that many chapters in there. Salakia. It's Psalms 37 and 8. Salakia. Psalm 37 and 8. Cease from anger. Hear that? He said, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. So he let you know, cease from anger and forsake wrath. He said, don't let the sun go down upon your wrath. Don't let all this wisdom go out of your spirit and you end up doing something and you end up with the vengeance of the Most High. Cease from anger is saying. And forsake wrath. Forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. Because you can go into evil even though you are an Israelite trying to be righteous and allowing your emotions. I got to bring that up because a lot of people, emotions, your pride rise up in you. Next thing you know, you jacked up by the sword of the Most High. For evildoers shall be cut off. You hear that? Evildoers going to be cut off. But those that wait upon the Most High, they shall inherit the earth. That's a good, I like that. Wait upon the Most High. Shall what? Shall inherit the earth. That take patience. That take humility. And that take dealing with something. Look at Zephaniah 3 and 8. It said, wait on the Most High, right? Listen to what it says. Therefore, wait ye upon me. The Most High tell him, he said, wait ye upon him. Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, said the Most High, until the day that I rise up to the prey. You hear what he said? He gonna rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. Hear that? His determination to gather all these nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to do what? To pour upon them mine indignation. Even all my fierce anger. We angry, most I say he gonna put all his fierce anger on these nations when he gather them all together to bring the judgment upon them. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. You hear that? All the earth gonna be devoured with the fire of the Most High's jealousy. He said he's gonna bring on his indignation, even all my fierce anger, he said. He said, wait on him. All we gotta do. Trust in him. Believe in him. Because the souls of those that have been killed is crying to the Most High continually, asking the Most High, when will he avenge their blood upon those that dwell where? On the earth. Ecclesiastes 23:16. It said, two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath and a hot mind. And a hot Salakia. You know, I have my main sword, but Salakia, but it's used. And I don't want to read it wrong in anticipating what it's saying. So I want to get a newer version of the Apocrypha and read it again. Ecclesiasticus 23:16 say, two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. Hear that? A hot head is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. Two sorts of men multiply sin. So that you know, this type of mindset, you're going to multiply sin. A hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till he have kindled a fire. See that? He ain't gonna never cease till you have kindled a fire. You know that fire is the wrath of the Most High. He said, hey, I'm gonna melt you. I will melt you. You don't want that. Proverbs 22. And 24 and 25. Proverbs 22, 24 and 25. Make no friendship with an angry man. How you like that? Most I said, make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go. Why? Lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. He make a trap to your soul. A lot of you dealing with angry men. He said, make no friendship with them. Lest you learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. See, that's why it tells you, as you learn what's right. He told us in 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. He said, now I beseech you, brethren, by Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua, the name of the Lord and Savior, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment, to follow what it is that the Most High is telling us. As he's telling us, make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go. Why you got to examine who it is you put over you, or who it is that you being friends with. He said, make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways, and get a snare to thy soul. It be a trap to you. But you end up angry and jacked up. Trust me. That's where all this is coming from an angry man. Romans 16. And hold on. Look at verse 17. Romans 16 and 17. It's a lot. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Now he's telling you. You've heard certain things, a whole lot of things within this lesson. In many lessons, it says, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. So you got a right to avoid people. For they that are such serve not our master, or Mashiach Yahushai, but their own belly. They're looking for something for themselves. Prestige in this wicked world of hell for the children of Israel. For they that are such serve not our master, or Mashiach Yahushai, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. Who the deceiver? Satan. They roll it with Satan. Isn't that what we say? Deceive the whole world? Deceive the hearts of the simple. You see? They're deceiving you simple-minded people. That's why I say Proverbs 1. Proverbs, the first chapter, and verse 22. He say, how long? See, they that are such deceive the minds of the simple, right? So he say, how long, ye simple ones, would ye love simplicity? You gonna love to be simple-minded over and over again? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. You can't bring the word to the fool, because they hate knowledge. Verse 7. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge. So they don't fear the Most High. A fool not going to fear the Most High. They ain't afraid of the Most High. They ain't scared of the Most High. They're going to do whatever they want to do. Then next thing you know, they jacked up. Most High done visited them, dealt with them. And now they want sorrow. But it's the Most High's chastening. It's the Most High's, hopefully it's his chastening, because he say we chasten love, or the Most High correction. But say the fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. A fool despises wisdom, which is a proper application of knowledge, how to apply this knowledge that we're getting into your life, and to instruct our people according to thus say the Most High's word. But when the book is closed, all of a sudden you become stupid as them. You become a fool yourself, right? People put you right there in a category. And the Bible say, hey, bring it forth. They can't. This is serious. This is not, I ain't banging on nobody. This is to all of us. This is for everyone. Nobody's exempt from this. No one. But if you think you are, then hey, then maybe you are. When the Most High visits you, ain't much you can say. 2 Timothy 3:16. 2 Timothy 3:16. It says, all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, and is profitable for doctrine. And this doctrine that you're receiving now and dealing with anger and being angry, you should take heed to. All scripture is given by the inspiration of the Most High, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. You see? So you being instructed, but a fool, scorners hate wisdom, the proper application of knowledge. And a fool hate knowledge. Once the book is closed, now all of a sudden you become dumb as the fool, dumb as the scorner. I don't have people come up and close my book. I want to hear what you got to say. So I start talking to speaking the word of the Most High as I know it. Then they still cut. They want to hear what the word of the Most High says. All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, and is profitable for doctrine. And the doctrine that we're dealing with today is being angry. For reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. And we know that righteousness is defined in Deuteronomy 6:25. So now, if you can't be instructed, you can't take instruction, then you better look at your pride. Whoa. Once again, James 4:10. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Most High. And his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and the secret things, secret parts. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Most High, and he shall lift you up. Humility is opposite of being prideful. Go to James, the first chapter, and we're going to read verse 19 to 21. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear. Every man be swift to hear, slow to speak. Don't be so anxious to speak. Slow to wrath. Hear that? Slow to wrath. Angry. You ready to hurt somebody. And when it comes down to the oppressor, you just run in your mouth. You just run in your mouth. That's what it says, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear. Be swift to hear. Go over this. Swift to hear what the Spirit is bringing forth. Slow to speak. Slow to speak. Don't be so quick to have to run your mouth. Or you out of order. Most I said, let everything be been done how? Decently and in order. Wherefore, my beloved brethren. Who's beloved? Because a lot of y'all take this and say, here's talk about anybody that the Most High love, long as they call on the name of Jesus. No, that's not to be loved. Who to be loved? Baruch 3:36. Let's go to the Old Testament and find out who the beloved is. Baruch 3:36. In the Apocrypha, he hath found out all the way of knowledge, and have given it unto Jacob, his servant, and to Israel, his beloved. See that? So the Israelites are the Most High's beloved. So that's who it's talking to. The brethren are the Israelites. So James 1:19. But look at James 1:1. James, the servant of the Most High, and of the Master of Mashiach Yahushai, to, meaning it's addressed to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings, my brethren. See? So it's talking to the 12 tribes that are scattered amongst all these nations, his brethren. Now going back to James 1:19. Wherefore, my beloved, we don't define the beloved as the Israelites. In Baruch 3:36, brethren, who are the Israelites, let every man be swift to hear, quick to listen. Listen is an honor and responsibility. Slow to speak, hear that? Listen is an honor and responsibility. So you got to listen. As everyone that you know, no matter who you hear, teaching this truth, they had to follow these orders. All of us. What running our mouth when the teacher was speaking? We were swift to hear and slow to speak. Slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High. You hear that? The wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High. That's why you got to be swift to hear, slow to speak. Meaning so not be, that takes discipline. It takes discipline. And if you instead let everything be decent and in order, and you so quick to have to run your mouth, you need to check yourself. Because you're going into pride. So what? I know a few precepts. I still have to be able to listen to children. I still have to be able to listen to men and women but if you know it all, then you're gonna listen to nobody. You're gonna speak over everybody. And in the end, you're gonna see the error of your way. Look at Ecclesiasticus, the 20th chapter, verse 1. Remember it says, wherefore my beloved brethren, that every man be swift to hear, quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Ecclesiastes 20:1, it says, there is a reproof that is not comely. It's a reproof that's not beautiful. Now, understand this, man, because a lot of men have this problem when it comes to women. You are afraid to rebuke them according to, thus say the Most High's word, because you don't want them to feel a certain way about you. But remember, the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and the secret parts. So, I believe that they should know what's right too, and what's wrong. Righteous women, virtuous women, and wicked women. Scriptures. That's why the Most High has no respect to person. I don't either. Either you're going to hear or forbear. But it's got to come out, because a woman can think she's on point and she's off as ever. Rolling with the devil. And don't you realize it, because as I know, when I bring out wicked women scriptures, a lot of women run. They have ran. They ain't deal no more. I didn't write it, but I've seen it in my lifetime. Why would you want to know? I mean, we dealing with the men all the time. Either being righteous or wicked. Choosing life or death, that's what it is. So you running from life because you chose death in the beginning. Chose death in the beginning. Moses said, don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, or you're going to die. And there was a known fact. It was said. He said, if we eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, we're going to die. But you can eat of the tree of life and live forever. So we chose death from the beginning. And Adam listened to his wife. And so we all died because of what she did, it says. So it's very important, I believe, that the whole word of the Most High has to come forth, because the Most High has no respect to persons. None of us. He had respect to us as a nation. He had respect to the Israelites. Us as a nation. He don't care about an individual life. He cares about us as a nation. I done seen brothers send their wife and the women away when it came down to teach about women's scriptures. I experienced that. What's this for? I mean, I want every woman to know what's right from wrong. Whether you hear or forbear. All brothers dealing with wicked women's scriptures. I remember I did wicked women's scriptures. I won't say just wicked. I went over women's scriptures. Let me correct myself. And the brother said it took 2 months to go over just women's scriptures. But they brought their wives to learn about what it is that the scripture's saying. To know. And I applaud them for that. When I've seen and learned this information with nothing but men. And women were excluded in that class. And I'm saying what I'm saying because hopefully it makes sense to you. And I remember going over women's scriptures and boom, bing, 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 they leave. And I tell them, okay, when I go over these scriptures, I didn't write anything, but a lot of y'all not going to deal no more here. And brothers didn't deal behind it. That's effeminate to me. They say, gird up your loins like a man. Either you're going to accept it or you're not going to accept it. We got a choice to choose two things. That's the only choice we have. Choose what? Life or death. That's it. Listen. There's a reproof that is not comely. It's not beautiful. It don't feel good. Again, some man holdeth his tongue and he is wise. See that? Some man holdeth his tongue. Like sometimes you be around people and you don't have to let them know everything that you know. You know what he said? Some man holds his tongue and is wise. Just because I'm an Israelite, just because I know what I know, I'm not going to reveal everything. Every time I go around somebody, I got to, look what I know, look what I know. Cut people off that don't know. While you walk around, don't know what you could know, that they could give you, that you could know. Since I said the children of the world are wiser than the children of the light. Better be paying attention. The children of the world, since they wiser than the children of light, you become a Israelite, become a L straight L7, a straight square. You worse than the Christians. At least they say they in the law. They looking at what the world doing. They know about what's going on. This happening, that's happening, Become an Israelite now. You don't know what's going on. It's amazing. They ain't doing no research. They don't know what's going on. If things wasn't shared with them, they'd be in their own world of total gross darkness. That's why I guess brothers start bringing the news, bringing forth the news of what's going on in the world, because Israel don't know. There's a reproof that is not comely. It ain't beautiful. It ain't something that you're going to look at it and say, oh, it ain't beautiful. Comely means it ain't beautiful. Again, some man holdeth his tongue and he is wise. You that? Hold of his tongue, know when not to speak, to show your wisdom. I told you the story about the dude walked around